why you picked, what piece of music you actually picked for the Egyptian category.
Okay.
¿Qué pieza elegiste para tu canción de egipcia?
The Egyptian es una música clásica
Classic one?
que se llama Sahir
Sahir.
El Ney. Se llama.
Sahir al Ney. It's a classic one.
And what made you choose that piece of music?
¿Por qué escogiste esa?
Porque era una canción sensual, exótica y mística a la vez.
Yeah. Exotic, sensual, and mystic.
And do you normally like to dance to instrumental versus a song?
¿Te gusta bailar canciones instrumentales?
It's my favorite.
Oh, okay.
Yes? Was that a yes?
Questions.
Yes.
One, can you tell me the name of the piece of music you used for the Egyptian category?
It was actually music that was probably composed, or I don't know exactly who composed the music, but it's definitely Sahra Saida's music. And I liked it best of all the songs I have in my computer. So this is why I picked it.
That's why you picked it. And did you pick an instrumental versus a song? Did that influence your...
I picked just an instrumental song.
Okay.
I think usually the people for Egyptian category pick mainly instrumental songs.
And why do you think that is? Is that a requirement in the competition?
It's not a requirement, but I think for a competition it's better to pick an instrumental song because with instrumental music it's more about the technique and about the movement. But with a song with a voice, it's more about the emotion and the story in the song.
Right.
And it's beautiful to tell a story by your dance, but I don't think it's the best thing for a competition.
And why do you think that is?
Because competitions are not only about the technique. Of course, they are not only about the technique, they are also about the soul and the stage presence. But I think that the emphasis is more on technique. And when you perform for a normal audience in a theater, it's not that much about the technique. The technique is not the priority. Why everybody is going to the theater. It's not what the people are coming to see. They want to see the emotions, the story. But in a competition, I think to show that you have good technique is one of the main objectives.
Can you tell me the name of the piece of music you chose for the Egyptian category?
It is called How Al Alam from I'm trying to remember, from Asmahan's latest CD.
Okay, and what influenced your choice for the piece?
Because it was very charismatic, had a lot of changes in it, and I felt like it was orchestrated well. It showed a lot of different variety of rhythms, which I thought would show a lot of variety in my dancing. And I just thought it was really energetic. It didn't keep the same kind of tempo. It had all these different energy levels, so I thought that would help kind of keep people's interest.
And when you perform, like say for a different kind of audience, what kind of music do you... This is the similar kind of music that you normally dance to?
Well, I always like really energetic or robust music. I mean, it doesn't matter the mood. I always want just really energetic music. But as far as the audience, I might use this music in a restaurant. As a matter of fact, I did use it in restaurant shows to kind of prepare for all of this. So, but that's a rock sharky piece. So, just depending on what I was asked to do, if it was folkloric or whatever, you know. But yeah, I would to answer your question, I would say that would be
For instrumentals, or do you also dance to a lot of songs with singing in them?
I prefer instrumentals.
Okay. Because they allow you, it has a variety that songs don't.
Yeah, well, there is a lot of belly dance music that is instrumental,
Right.
that originally had lyrics with it, so we're still supposed to know what the music means in order to dance to it. But I would say overall, just for a wider range of an audience, most people are going to connect more to instrumental music, and you have more freedom to...
What piece of music did you
express
choose?
yourself.
Layli Zaman. No, I'm not pronouncing it correctly.
And what made you choose it?
The instrumentation of it was very, very beautiful, very complex. A very complex piece of music. And it's a little above my level, but I wanted to strive for something just a little bit out of my grasp and push myself to a higher level.
And did you choose an instrumental song versus something with vocals on purpose, or is that a requirement? Or you prefer them?
It was just a piece of music that spoke to me. It was very beautiful. Sometimes the vocals speak to me, but this one was the instrumentation. The ney solo, the violin. The violin is very heavy through the piece, and it's very, very flowy and lilting and pulling. And there was so much. The instruments tell so much of a story. Even when you hear them cry and you hear them sing with joy. And I wanted to try and be able to put.
So you performed in the Egyptian category yesterday.
Yes.
And can you tell me the name of the music you chose?
Dr. Sami Farag.
And what made you choose that piece? Why?
Почему ты выбрала именно это?
Скажи, что мне очень нравятся легкие, быстрые постановки.
She's very like quick and not hard dancing because of this.
И где можно показать красиво игру костюма.
I
And
don't
play
know how to
costumes.
put it in English.
Play costumes.
Playing with
Because you can play with your costume and move it around. And do you always prefer music or song?
Song.
Song. So you chose
or instrument?
Voice.
But over here it was instrument.
Тут нельзя выступать под песню.
We come to performance with song because this she is performance
Competing.
competing on instrumental music.
So over here you have to do instrumental, is that what you're saying?
In the Egyptian category?
They ask for
category, no song, instrumental.
Oh, they say that?
Yes.
Is that the rule?
Rules.
Ah.
Oh, BDUC
But
rules.
I like song.
Ah.
Okay, so BDUC rules, no song,
No voice.
no voice. Okay, thank you so much. Can you tell me the name of the piece of music that you chose for the Egyptian category?
I don't know what the song is. I got the song from Cassandra Shore. I took a workshop from her, and so I took the first piece of it. And
Okay,
then
so
the
she
drums.
gave a CD in that workshop. And what made you choose that piece?
I was gonna dance to a pop Turkish song, but I thought this was Egyptian category, so I picked that song.
And
Very
so
traditional Egyptian.
because it's instrumental, or do you?
It's all instrumental, and then it's very traditional Egyptian song.
So what makes it traditional?
I know it was Cassandra Shore actually picked that song, and it was supposed to be 38 minutes long, and we just have it for 2 minutes.
Okay. Can you tell me the name of the music that you chose for the Egyptian category?
El Art by Mario Curlis.
And what made you choose that piece?
Because the music moved me. I usually listen for a piece of music that moves me and makes me feel good when I listen to it.
And do you normally find that it's instrumental pieces that move you more than, say, songs?
They both move me, but if I don't understand the music and the language that they're speaking, I tend to stick with more instrumental.
What piece of music did you choose for the Egyptian category?
Какой отрывок музыки ты выбрал для египетской категории?
Я выбрал в полуфинале, я танцевал музыку, именно взяв экспрессию и барабаны.
Half final it's expression and drums.
Стараясь выплеснуть именно свои эмоции, я люблю очень быструю и в то же время такую очень мягкую музыку.
He was trying to show his emotions. He liked to show.
Я стараюсь дать больше техники.
He is trying to give more technician to show the technique.
Увидев сегодняшнее, я очень удивлен, потому что Америка очень сильно отстала по технике, и по музыке, и по эмоциям, по исполнению именно от России. В России самая сильная школа.
Today, Oleg was surprised because America is behind than Russia in technique and in music and emotionally too. So because he saw all who was competing today, and yeah, he was surprised like that.
And do you like to dance to instrument or singing?
Больше люблю под инструменты, потому что человек должен быть оркестром и должен под каждый свой музыкальный инструмент выплеснуть свои эмоции.
Oleg likes instrumental music more because the dancer should be like orchestra, and he should express every instrument. So the instrument
is, if you were to advise a student on what music to pick to compete in the Egyptian category to win, what would you recommend? Also, what your experience was watching the primaries yesterday?
Well, as we both said, Egyptian, first of all. Of course. And I would say choose something that's produced by a really good orchestra in Egypt, so you have to know a little bit about the musicians. Something that first of all turns you on, because you have to listen to it many times and express the love and the joy and the passion that the music calls forth in you. So you listen to many. I think it should have a variety of an exciting opening, some good tuck scenes, not too long, because nowadays they tend to be rather short, and the attention span is short, and you don't have a lot of time.
Right.
And a good drum solo, short, and then a nice finale that ties it all in.
What do you think, Aisha?
And of course, for me, I'm very much a traditionalist, so I would advise my students to choose what I love, which would be traditional Egyptian instrumentation played by really fine musicians.
So no electric instruments, you mean?
Well, you know, sometimes some of the new instruments have become acculturated and do become Egyptian, like the trumpet did after 20 years, and even the accordion did, and even the synthesizer. So it's not just that. You could have some of those instruments if they are really integrated with music, but mainly to have those instruments which elicit virtuosic response from the dancer for things like Russia, or for undulations, or for Saidi, so that she's giving variety and fast-moving, colorful.
Like when you just mentioned the rhythm, I like to hear like at least 3 or 4 different rhythm changes, like a nice Masmoudi, back to a folkloric something, either Saidi, Bambutea, something folklore, so that it shows. My understanding, can you show this?
Yeah.
You have to be careful when your vocalization when they have a song, because you really have to know what's being said, and you have to interpret that with gesturing.
Exactly, and most of them don't know. They're just guessing, or
unless they're Egyptian, or unless it's translated for them.
And if they're lip syncing it and they're off, it's embarrassing.
Right. So I have been thinking about the music that the contestants have been picking for the Egyptian category, and I noticed that it was pretty much 30 instrumental pieces. And it made me wonder why, because Egyptian music is, a lot more to it than that. And I've been asking contestants what piece of music they chose and why they selected it. And I kind of want to get if you were to advise a student on what piece of music to choose for the competition if they're trying to win it.
Okay.
What and why?
It's 5 minutes. So I would say choose about a 2-minute portion of an Oriental to just have the introduction, to do the walk around, and then I would choose something emotional. If they don't want singing, I would choose an emotional piece that maybe had singing but would be instrumental, such as Kulthum or Warda or Abdul Halim, that's an instrumental, so that I could see the emotion and the feeling behind the dance.
I agree. I think it's hard. They only have 5 minutes, so I think for me, watching 30 dancers all do Oriental pieces instrumental, it got a little dry. So I was waiting for like someone to do a pop song, maybe just show range of emotion.
Yeah.
There was only one girl who did a little bit of Kulthum with vocals, which I loved. I was like, okay, this is pure Egyptian, and I actually really appreciate it. So I would try to do that, edit out a piece of music that maybe a minute of entrance to get you on the stage, show some choreography that you can travel, show an emotional range with some Kulthum, and maybe some pop, some shabby.
Yes,
would be fresh.
I agree with you.
Right?
Yeah.
Something to kind of lighten the mood, because
Yeah.
it gets tense in the competition. We feel tense judging, they feel tense competing.
Yeah, and then it would give them a little bit of their personality to come out.
That seemed like, and maybe with a little bit of drum solo, but with everybody doing the same thing, it made it hard to kind of, clean the palette. So I think they did really well. There were some really good dancers, but that would be my suggestion.
Yeah, it showed more technique than themselves.
And I think one question, I was talking to some of the students during the workshops, and I was saying that it's really important to ask yourself, when you're watching the other dancers, what am I feeling? Am I feeling, sensitive, feeling hot? Am I laughing? It's like you have to make the audience, and especially the judges, feel something. Whatever it is, they have to feel something. They can't just say, okay, good technique, good dance, good choreography. What do I walk away feeling, and what do I remember? I think
Hana, why did this concern you so much?
It concerned me because
what did you feel?
Well, I felt bored. I felt like I am here. Okay, at the end of tonight, I felt like what brought me here was Egyptian belly dance. That's what I love. Like music.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I don't know if you knew, but tonight at the finals, they all have to dance to the same music.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I understand
So
that. I'm talking about
which
what
was
it shows
for the first part of the competition.
And I find it sad that the category that I enjoyed the most was fusion, because that's where even people who were that was a category where everybody was actually at their best.
I actually really enjoyed judging that. And I was surprised. I was judging fusion. I was like, really? Okay, and I got in there and it was really exciting. I had a lot of fun, actually. You're right, people just brought out the best.
I was bored after instrumental after instrumental. And I wonder why people don't get out of the box and do something different. And are they limited by their expectations?
Maybe it makes them vulnerable if they show what they really feel.
It's a good lesson. When I come to these competitions as a judge, I'm also a student. I'm learning all the time.
Oh yeah.
When I perform in other festivals, I'm also performing with maybe 20 or 30 other dancers. How am I going to stand out with them? And everyone else often does the Oriental pieces. So it makes me realize that the choice of music is so important, and to have range.
Definitely.
Range of emotion. So.